You must arrest your emotions in order to win. Put your emotions on a leash. Growing up, I grew up around a lot of men, which is why you guys will hear me make references to men and women a lot, because I love the study of the differences of the sexes between men and women. The amount of research, the amount of books I read per week, audible books per week, written by men and written by women, and comparing them, understanding the differences of the sexes is what helps me better navigate my environment. Women are not like men. Men are not like women. A lot of women think that they are superior or extremely different to other women, but in my opinion, majority of women are the same. The same way majority of men are the same. The only gender that stands out compared to the rest of their gender is the work that they are willing and not willing to do. Most women are in their unhealthy, toxic feminine, the same way most men are in their unhealthy, toxic masculine. There are when I meet a woman, I know exactly what I'm getting ready to deal with. Maybe she's healed in her healthy masculine. Maybe she's part of that 3% group. But I usually know what I'm going to get from this person. Same thing with men. The fact that a lot of women think that it's only women who are insecure. Men are probably, if not more insecure than women are. But until you understand the differences of the sexes, you won't know that. Which is why you have to put your emotions on a leash. When I see women, their downfall is their emotions. When I see men, their downfall are their urges. A woman's downfall will always be her emotions. I've met women crash out, and I'm like, if you stop crashing out, baby girl, you'll probably be able to accomplish something. If you stop with those disrespectful ways, if you stop finding your identity in another woman, a lot of women, a lot of people say women center men. No, women center other women. Women find one specific girl that they admire and they obsess over her. And they replicate her and they copy her and they try to destiny swap with her. They try to lose weight because she lost weight. You got to have another woman lose weight for you to lose weight, ma'am. It didn't occur to you to get healthy because that's what's best. If you want a woman to get competitive, the only way that a woman will compete is against another woman. They're not going to really compete in the real world. The only thing that'll put a woman on her game is another woman that's coming in. Women like to find their FP's favorite person that they monitor, copy, and then they try to duplicate that person and see if they can swap lives with that person. And if the woman on the other end that is being admired isn't smart, she will fall a victim to that. And that's when you start going into spiritual warfare. That's when you start calling down certain angels to go against that person because they think it's a game, right? If you think emotionally, you are going to try to get in a playing field with a woman, but that would put you in your toxic feminine, and it's going to make you emotional because this person is already unhinged, which is why they're doing what they're doing. Unhinged people always find a favorite person and they try to... Okay, here's the difference between healthy women and women in their unhealthy toxic... I have a lot of women I admire, and I always tell them that. I always give them their flowers, and I tell them how much they've changed my life and how much I admire them, and there's never anything weird. But women who are in their unhealthy, toxic, jealous, feminine energy will find a chick that she admires, try to replicate the chick, act like she doesn't know what she's doing, and then end up like Cardi B 5 years down the line with no album. Because she tried to keep up with Miss Onika Mirage. That's what a lot of women do. They can't really compete. They just find a woman that they are obsessed with and they try to compete with that woman. But in the real world, they're failing. Their bills are backed up. Their credit is screwed up. Their dating life is non-existent. No therapy, unhealed, trauma bonding. They're not competing in the real world. Remember what I tell you guys? Real women don't compete in the real world. Women compete with other women. And if you're an emotional woman, you're going to start competing with other women too. And then you're going to start losing in the real world. Now let's talk about men. The biggest downfall of men is not their emotions. The biggest downfall of men are their urges. The urges that they have that usually comes in the form of a woman. A man that can allow a woman to take him off the right path, which is most men, their demise always comes from a woman. Women have the power to come in and make stuff upside down. I see it all the time. They can come in and flip stuff upside down, and not in a good way. And if a man is not smart and disciplined, he will allow that to happen. I remember when I was working a couple years ago at this construction firm, and this man built his business. I mean, the biggest business on the beach. This man owned it, and he ended up falling in love with his assistant. And ever since this woman came into his business, it got worse. He can't hire a smart woman because if that woman is attractive, she doesn't want the girl on the team. She has no emotional control, so she talks to her employees like they're the help, so he can't keep staff, right? He can never keep a staff member for more than 30 days because his girl is disrespectful. And if a man is not careful, you will lose your kingdom. If you let your sexual urges and your need for sex get in the middle of your need for winning. That's what happened to Diddy. You become obsessed with the ideal of multiple women to the point where you start doing things that are contrary to what's legally correct. Most men get their money and blow it on women because they lack control of their urges. A woman's number one conquest will be, can she conquer her emotions? A man, can he conquer his urges? That's the difference between the two. I think men predominantly usually are pretty balanced emotionally until that urge comes in for either sex or power, which is why when they cannot dominate a woman, they do the things that we've been seeing on the news because they felt insecure. The other day when I was at the gym, I was on the phone with my brother having a conversation. And this man next to me overheard me and my brother talking on the phone about something. I wanted to get my brother's advice. Usually when I go to advice, I'm going to call my brother. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like he's just really good at just bringing me back to planet Earth, getting me out of those emotional natures that I have, dismantling them, conquering them, and telling me, okay, I don't want you to think with emotion like what most women do. I want you to think logically. My brother taught me logical thinking. My father taught me that. I don't want you to spiral out of control because I want you to have a better system. In life, you have to have systems. And as a woman, if you let your emotions control your system, you're going to ruin everything. I was having that conversation with my brother, and I had a man that was next to me on the treadmill, and he said, "Hi, I'm sorry, what was your name?" And I told him my name. I asked him what was his name, and he said, "Nice to meet you. I don't want to be intrusive, and I want to be respectful of you, but I did overhear your conversation because it sounded extremely interesting, and my headphones happened to lose battery, but is it okay if I give you my 2 cents?" And I looked at him and I said, "That right there, I admire." He said, what is it about that you admire? I said, the respect that you have, the innate respect Just because let's be honest, most women just blurt out how they feel. They don't really think before speaking. They just speak, right? Most women are not going to think twice before they speak because most women don't practice consequential thinking, which is why they end up in all these wild situations because they don't think before they act. They act and then they think afterwards. The reason why he addressed me like that, and he told me, I didn't know if you were going to get upset. I didn't know if you were going to get angry. I didn't know if you were going to flip out. So I wanted to address you respectfully to avoid that from happening. And I said, I love that. You remind me of my brother. I love the fact that you think ahead of time. Thinking is a skill, ladies and gentlemen. I love the fact that you thought about all the ways this situation could go wrong before opening up your mouth. And I told him, as a man, I don't know if you're single or married, but if you could apply that same logic and skill of thinking to your dating life, there's no way you won't be successful, because before you allow a woman to enter your kingdom, you are going to think about all the possible ways she can either uplift it or destroy it. Which is the same thought process that women should have before you let a man in your life. If I let this man in my life, what are the pros and cons of me allowing someone like this to have access to me? Same thing goes with friendships. Put your emotions on a leash. When you don't arrest your emotions and you don't put your emotions on a leash, as a woman, you are going to start making mistakes that could have been avoided if you thought with logic, if you thought with patience, and if you thought with care. Today, I had to evict a tenant. I had a tenant today that I had to evict because she was disrespectful and she was out of line. And I don't think she thought before she spoke and before she did what she did, I don't think she thought about what the consequences would be. Which proves to me that although she's in her 60s, she's not that smart. Because people who have emotional intelligence think before they act. Most women don't do that. And men who are in their unhealed masculine energy, they don't think either. This woman refused to pay her rent. And I went to her and I said, okay, well, is there a problem that I need to know about? Because I feel like every single month, it's a problem for you to pay me. And I don't know if you know me that well. Well, you don't know me that well because this is a professional relationship. But I don't really like playing games, ma'am. I don't like games. And women like to play them, but I don't. That's the difference. Because I'm in my healthy masculine majority of the time because that's how I get stuff done in my life. If I'm in my feminine all the time, I'm going to be too busy going back and forth with women, competing with the girl next to me, competing with who has the best dress. Stupid shit is what I'm going to spend my time on if I'm in my feminine all the time. My feminine is for my relaxation time and for my lover. But during the day, I need to have that discipline. I don't have time for all those emotions or games because that stuff keeps you stagnant. I told her, I don't really know what type of game you're playing, manipulation. I don't really know what you're trying to do right now, ma'am, but I'm just letting you know that it's not going to work. I really would like it if you paid me on time and you respected the fact that I am giving you a place to stay. I am renting a place for you to stay, and when it's time for you to pay, you don't want to do that. Oh, yeah. You know that thing that people do, yeah, when they just keep going on and on and on, and nothing that they're saying is making sense. And it's just straight up screaming and foolishness and hallucinations, and nothing that's coming out the person's mouth is senseful or respectful. And then this woman starts calling me out of my name, straight up disrespecting me. So I picked up my purse and I walked out the room. I don't argue with women and I don't argue with men. I don't do arguments. Arguing is reserved for people who are extremely important to me and my lover. It's not, I don't argue with strangers. I don't argue with people on the internet. Why would I do that? Why would I give you that part of me? So I left. As I'm walking out, this woman breaks all the cameras. And she's following me in my car. Again, her emotions are running rampant. She has no control over her emotions. I'm not surprised. Most women don't have control over. That's why you guys go through what you go through in the workplace with sabotage and women that want to take you down, because that emotion that they have, they don't have a lid on it. That's why they put you through what they put you through. It's a lot of insecurity and emotion. Insecurity and emotion in them. Not much logic. A lot of insecurity and a lot of emotion. Which is why they don't even see how they can put themselves in jeopardy, because they're not thinking with their brains. They are only using emotion. So I walk out the house and I don't say anything, because I got my emotions under control. I know what I can do. I'm going to think with logic. At the end of the day, I want this woman out of my property. So I drive down to the sheriff's office. And because I am charismatic and I know how to form the right connections, because I'm not socially awkward, and I've learned to give respect where it's due, and I understand the hierarchy of society, so I don't go running off the mouth to any woman or man that I meet, not thinking about who this person might be or the power they may have. And I don't overstep boundaries or break rules. I have been able to form good bonds and good connections with many people of all races. If I need medical advice tonight, I can call my doctor tonight, my physician, on her personal number. Because I create the kind of bonds that are healthy, because I know how to connect with people on a deeper level. It's a skill. I give people respect, which is a concept that, again, a lot of women still struggle with. Because you have to understand hierarchy in order to understand respect. You can't be going off at the mouth at your landlord. That's ridiculous. But we see this happen all the time. I drive to the sheriff's office. I know the sheriff very well. We've built that bond. You know, I'm like, hey, are you at the office? I want to be able to come and see you. I have a situation here. Because part of being able to work the room is building bonds and connections in every room you make with powerful people. Chiropractor, physician, dentist, realtor, lawyer. I have all of these people's numbers in my phones personally, because I've built that bond with them. I told them about what this woman is doing. They said, okay. Went over there, served her eviction papers, and asked her to leave. You got 24 hours to exit the premises. She thought I was playing, because she uses emotion to get through life. I use logic. And logic will trump emotion every single time. When I'm mentoring women, I tell women, those emotions that you got, I'm going to need you to put them on a leash. I'm going to need you to arrest them and put them in the back seat of your car. Because if you want to be in the top 10% of this life as a woman, you are going to have to tuck your emotions in and only allow them to come out with the right people and in the right situations. For example, I'm not going to be a rock with my husband. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to be a rock with my immediate family that I love. That's ridiculous. I will give them my emotion, because that's my family. That's my husband. I'm not going to give that to random people, because that is how they control you, ladies and gentlemen. It's with your emotions. Majority of the reason why women get manipulated in romantic relationships is because men rely on you to be emotional to manipulate you. Men know women are emotional. That's why they prey on your emotion to keep you where they want you. But when a man encounters a woman who has arrested her emotions, the reverse is changed. Now she's in control. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to give out too much. Those are for my mentees and my girls on my private calls. The sheriff got over there and asked her to leave, and she's crying, and she's like, why would you do that? How could you just go over there and not say anything and not warn me? How could you just do that to me? And that's the thing with a lot of women, is they think that every woman is like them. Some of us women are not women, by the way. Some of us women are not just regular women. Some of us, we're empresses. We're goddesses. We're starseeds, and you don't even know that. Because women think every woman is the same. Every woman thinks the same. Not knowing that there's a small percentage of women that cannot be taken out. And that don't use their emotions to control their entire life. They actually use logic. She tells me, I thought you were a nice person. How could you not warn me? And I said, once disrespect is served, ma'am, there's no more grace for you after that. And that's where a lot of women go wrong. And I see this a lot in the workplace, where they will talk to their manager crazy. And their schedule has now changed to less days, and they can't understand why. You disrespected authority. You disrespected authority. Huh. I looked at her and I said, you know what? I definitely would have given you a week or two to gather your things. I would have given you a week, 2-3 weeks for free. Listen, I'm all about being a good Samaritan, ma'am. I'm a Christian. But you disrespected me. So now I have to shift my approach to you. Many women do not understand that concept. It's literally a foreign language to them to see the consequences of their actions. You go to a red carpet and you leave with a knot on your head. You go to a red carpet event, upper echelon. You leave with a knot on your head because you didn't think that there is a possibility that I will try and touch this woman and get knocked out by her friend. You didn't think that far. Of course you didn't. You're emotional. Of course you didn't think that her friend would knock you out. You didn't think about the consequences of walking over there until you left with a knot on your head. My father was very tough on me growing up, ladies and gentlemen. Very tough. He would say, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you don't do this, that is going to happen. My father didn't give me that fairy tale rose, pink roses, pink princess crown. My dad told me this is life. And if you are not smart, baby girl, you will be wiped out. My father's a Leo just like me. Don't play no games. If I'm this way, imagine what the male version's like. I was not allowed to have a C on if I got a C, my dad's like, well, why do you have a C? What's the excuse for having a C? You don't pay bills here. Why? And I never got a C again because I realized that I got that C because I didn't study. I didn't pay attention in class. I was too busy talking with my friends in the corner or skipping class. That's why I got the C. In life, you must practice consequential thinking and arrest your emotions, because if you don't, you will wake up in a life that you do not like, in a reality that you are not happy with. If you are where you are right now and you don't like it, you make a decision to change it. Now back to that woman. Oh, where am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I said, well, why didn't you think about that when you were being disrespectful, calling me all types of B words, and you broke my cameras? Why is it now that the logic is kicking in? At your age, you didn't learn to arrest your emotions. And that's why your life is where it is, ma'am. Because you didn't know. You didn't know to keep your mouth shut and think twice before you speak. You just spoke. And now, at least you will learn in the future that before I speak or challenge someone, I will think about all the possible ways that person can dismantle me before I challenge them. Allegedly, I'd like to take Tory Lanez as an example. You're going online. Oh, well, this is a way that you can keep your catalog and not have to make anybody have access or money. I did it. I can teach you all how to do it. Not knowing that by opening your mouth, you are bothering very powerful people who are more powerful than you. You didn't know that. That there are superiors. You are removing money from their wallets by making those public statements on the internet. And if people learned how to just be quiet and get their coin and stay out of people's face in drama, you wouldn't deal with half of the sabotage that you deal with. And if you did have sabotage, you will handle it accordingly behind the scenes. As much as I like Miss Nicki Minaj, when she went on that rampage about Megan Thee Stallion, not knowing that she has very powerful people backing her up, you would not go on the VMAs. You would not be on the VMAs. You should have, that's a given. Is it fair? No. Is it reality? Yes. As a woman, I have to face reality every day. I don't give myself fairy tales because they don't exist. That person has more powerful people behind them. You come for them, you will get put out. You come for them, you will get put out. A lot of people are talking about all the damages, allegedly, that Beyonce has done, not understanding that she's able to do so much damage because of how quiet she is. Ladies, learn how to keep your mouth closed. Gentlemen, learn how to be quiet. I'm not saying any of the things that she's done was right. That's not what I'm talking about. Let's stay on topic. I'm talking about the reason she is able to execute so many of her ploys and agendas is because no one knows what she's doing next. Women like to leave paper trail. You never show your enemy that they're your enemy You don't go online and try to drop little hints and call someone out. And now you're going to be surprised when that person retaliates. You don't know how they're going to retaliate. And that's the problem that many women face, is saying or doing something without being aware of how the person on the receiving end of your tactic is going to retaliate. There was a time I sat there as a little girl, crying to my grandmother because someone hurt me. And she looked at me and she said, "Baby, you're weak." I was like, "What? You're weak?" And I didn't expect my grandmother to tell me that while I'm crying. What? You're supposed to be comforting me. She's like, "If you're going to be that weak in this world, you're not going to make it. You must be strong. You must be resilient. You must be so strong, so resilient, so calculated, so emotionally mature that anybody that forms a weapon against you must be shivering because they don't know what's going to come next." They think that they are going to get away with what they're doing to you because they are underestimating the strength of their opposers, who they're opposing. That is a problem that a lot of women have, is underestimating the strength. A smart person never underestimates the strength of their enemy. Ask Melissa Ford. Having that conversation, didn't know that there's a possibility that I'm going to get a bottle thrown at my head. You underestimated that other young woman. Do not underestimate anyone. Before you make a decision, ladies and gentlemen, to open your mouth, target someone, form a weapon against someone, talk crazy to someone, expose someone's secret, I hope you know your opponent well. I hope you know them personally. And I hope that you are prepared for the consequences when that person retaliates. You see, the reason why I stay out of drama and I stay out of issues with men, and the minute a man shows me that he may be narcissistic or abusive, I walk away, is because I'm not going to underestimate what that man is going to do to me. You never really know anyone, by the way. I remember there was this pastor that went online talking bad about another pastor, saying, oh, he's involved in this, he's involved in that. And I get it. It's all right. It's all right. I get it. Sometimes you want to speak out for what's right, but you got to be prepared for the retaliation of your enemy. This pastor was going on stage speaking about this. 3 months later, let's just say that this person's home, let's just say that that person that they spoke about, I have a feeling was behind the things that happened to this person's home. Meaning, let's just say they bought you know what and sent out you know what, flying all through the windows and walls of this man's home, family's home. Thank God his family wasn't home. Never underestimate an act out of emotion. Never underestimate the retaliation of the person that you are trying to go after. And after that situation happened, that same person that minister was speaking about posted a post saying, oh, let's pray for him. But me knowing men very well, knowing women very well, and knowing narcissistic, demonic people very well, in my head, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if you sent that hit out because of what he said about you months ago. Never challenge someone and underestimate or put a lid on how that person will react to you. That's street smarts, ma'am. I see women do it all the time. They go up to a woman, oh, I just want to talk to her. I just want to talk to her. They go online and start doing crazy, but you don't know how that girl is going to respond to you. I hope you're ready. Because not everybody plays the same game. Some people are more aggressive with the way they play. And you'll never see it coming. So avoid drama. Avoid problems. Because you don't know how dirty people play. Ladies and gentlemen, emotional control is important. Especially for you all who are trying to escape abusive relationships. You don't just start talking crazy to the abuser and making threats and saying, I'm going to leave, because you cannot underestimate what that man or woman will do to you when making statements like you're going to leave. A person who moves off of logic and not emotion, the abuser will come home to an empty home. When women tell me that they are in an abusive situation and they're going to speak out to their man and tell his family, I say, don't do that. You can tell your family. But you are dealing with an abusive person. And the minute you do that, you are now underestimating your enemy and what they will do. And smart women don't underestimate anyone. She said, well, what do I do? I said, I'm going to tell you what to do step by step. Number one, you will show no signs that you're getting ready to leave the relationship. If you got a fake smile, go to events, dance, hug on him, you will show no signs that you are going to leave the relationship. Because people who move with logic do not allow their opposer to know what they are going to do next. That is what a lot of women do in relationships, which is why they get played. Because they show their cards without learning their target. I told her, you will show no signs that you're going to leave him. Act like everything's fine. I want you to get a brand new phone and a brand new number. I want you to get a brand new job in a brand new city. I want you to change your address. I want you to join deleteme.com, where there is never any traces of where you frequent. I want you to warn your kids to not answer any funny questions. I want you to get your license to you know what. And when he goes to work and he comes home, he will come home to an empty home with no traces of you or anyone else. And you will already be on a plane to a different city. And by the time you are in a different city, your restraining order will already be in effect. You will have police and sheriffs patrolling up and down your neighborhood until the coast is clear for a couple of months. Because we don't move with emotion around here. Using constant emotion, that's dangerous. We're not doing that.